like what was told to me when I started tattooing is I remember I was looking at Bob Tyrell and like Corey Flatmo and all these people in International Tattoo Magazine. And the girl that taught me how to tattoo, or one of the people that was teaching me, told me, never compare yourself to these people. You'll never be them. And I remember in that moment, I think I'm just like a rebellious person in nature. So like, as soon as she said that, I was like, that's exactly what I'm gonna do. Like, I'm gonna be them. I'm gonna be like them. And I remember that was like my main inspiration for like the first 5 to 8 years, was like, I was gonna prove her wrong. That you told me I could never do something, so I'm gonna do it just to prove I can. And it really was like the opposite effect for me. And that's the one thing that I think people really need to think about, is like, if someone tells you you can't, you need to do it just out of pure rebellion, you know, and just say, fuck that and fuck you, man. I can do this. Don't tell me who I am. I know what I am. And that magic that you have in you, man, you gotta believe in it. My name's Nikko Hurtado, and I tattoo, and I work out of Black Anchor, Hisperia, and Los Angeles. I've been tattooing about 18 years. Yeah, I mean, now tattooing, I do realism, you know. It's something that I think I gravitated towards in high school. I used to draw like portraits and things like that. I was more, you know, I leaned more towards that stuff, the figurative stuff. And so when I tattooed, if somebody gave me the opportunity to do anything real, that's what I would want to do, you know. And I used to draw portraits when I was at the shop, so people knew that that's what I wanted to do, was tattoo portraits. So I started tattooing like people's kids and family members and things like that, and it just kind of spiraled to now, to where I do a lot of pop culture stuff, with stuff that inspired me as a kid, like Ninja Turtles, and you know, I'm an 80s kid, so like just all that stuff I love. I applied all these inspirations I had, and when I tattooed the color portraits, I remember reading what Guy Aitchison wrote, and then being inspired by like, you know, Jimmy Litwack and Joe Capo, and then like, you know, just doing my what was in my heart, because one of the first tattoos I ever did was Batman from the 90s, like Michael Keaton. And I remember me and my buddy were supposed to do a Humphrey Bogart. And so he came in, he was like, oh, I want Humphrey Bogart. But the day he came in for the appointment, he brought me a Batman like Returns official movie guidebook. And he's like, what about this? And it was all color and bright and cool. And I'm all, yeah, let's do that. And so I had done pinups, and I was like, let's just go for it. And we did the color portrait. And from there, like, it really wrote itself for my history, because people seen it on the internet. It was a very like, well, actually that was before the MySpace thing. It was like, he went to a convention and he showed it, and that's when people started talking about me. And then that's kind of where it went from there. In my opinion, there's no secret to any kind of success or anything. It's exactly what you think it is: hard work, and it's grueling hours, you know, and it's really pushing yourself to the limit of breaking. You know, I just think that it's really on the day-to-day. I think some people aren't built that way, and you know, I think that, like, I always think about the 10,000 hour rule, right? Like, to master anything, it takes 10,000 hours. So like, if you want to be an amazing chef, you got to be in the kitchen or in wherever you're working doing that 10,000 hours. And people don't want to hear that, you know, but it's like, that's what it takes. And like, really, man, what else are you gonna do with your time? You know, I think that a lot of times people don't realize that when you look at somebody, like, let's just say you're Jackson Pollock or Caravaggio or like any of these people, right? Like, they're just another human being. They lived a life, they learned, they did something. I truly believe that you're capable of anything. And it's so crazy, because as a child, you're told you can do anything. And inside of you, you say, no, I can't. And we've all done it. No, I can't. There's no way I can be that person. Somewhere along the line, something changed in me. And I said, yeah, I can. And so that's my why. My why is, yeah, I can. And it's like, I'm going to. It's not a matter of maybe. It's like, it's happening. Tattooing's changed a lot, man. When I started tattooing, it was crazy because I was doing flash. I was doing walk-ins, you know. I didn't have, like, it wasn't like I had a niche. And there was people with niches, like, you know, I was inspired by like Bob Tyrell, and I was inspired by like Guy Aitchison, and there was those people, but it wasn't as broad as it is now. Like, there was only a certain amount of people. It's just changed, man. You know what? I'm gonna give you a little thing for me. When I started tattooing and I started doing color realism, it was really like ridiculed in tattooing. Like it was really like shunned. Like people were like, oh, I'll never last, it'll be this way, and colors can fade and talk, right? And I'm talking when you have heroes of yours, bro, like you're like, I idolize this traditional dude. And it was me, dude. Like I was like this young kid. I'm like, that dude's the best. I want to be like that dude. And then you can see like something that dude put out there or an article and they just talk shit on color realism. And I'm like, oh man, it kind of hurt me a little bit. Like I love this stuff, you know, like I'm a tattooer, like I love tattooing. And just to see the standard of the world, like to watch people everywhere in the world do this style now and do it really fucking well, makes me happy. Because it's like, well, it's something that's never gonna go away. It's a part of tattooing now, and I just think it's only gonna get crazier. And I respect all walks of tattooing, man. Like, you wanna do a watercolor tattoo? Like, it's like art, dude. Like, do it. If you can make a living, do it. I don't give a fuck. Like, you wanna do dot work? That's amazing. I love that stuff. You wanna do traditional? I respect it out of it. So I'm really proud of the fact that hopefully in one little inkling that I helped these tattooers around the world maybe find that little spark and create that style art, and now it's their turn to take it to the next place, and I think keep going with every generation, you know, and I'm sure there's generations now from there, and I'm inspired to see what they do.